confidence isn't accidental, it is designed. We need to make sure that as parents and as coaches, we're doing the right things to make sure that they're establishing that foundation. Welcome back to the first 7 years by Footy Nippers. This is the show where we unpack movement, culture, coaching, and confidence through the lens of early childhood. My name is Jimmy, and I'm one of the co-founders of Footy Nippers.
Kia ora whānau, my name is Troy, founder of Footy Nippers.
Awesome. And today, we're going to be diving into why confidence needs to come before competence in young kids and why that order matters more than most people realize. But before that, you're in Italy at the moment, aren't you?
First of all, Jimmy, obviously we're on this podcast right now, and I do have a blue background. I'm currently in Italy at the moment in Torino. Apologies for any sort of editing that goes bad with the background. But bro, we're here. We have a very important meeting tomorrow with Mizuno. I've got to catch up with them, the Mizuno family at the headquarters there, the HQ. So part of the meeting's about our relationship and how we can build the collaboration between Mizuno and Footy Nippers moving forward. So it's a really exciting meeting. You know, it's a space where I think we need to go into because we will be aligning ourselves with a global brand. You know, this time tomorrow, fingers crossed, we'll have some good news.
Yeah, awesome. I think look at the way that Mizuno works with you with Haka. You know, never had problems with the kit. They're a reputable brand. They live by your values as well. So if we could get someone like them on board with Footy Nippers, that would be massive. So
right, massively. And like the biggest thing, they're reaching beyond, right? Like they always want to try and go that extra step further. But I probably think that the challenging thing for them is then gone into an early childhood space, you know, getting down towards the 18 months, you know, rather than, I think the lowest they do is 8 years old. So it's going to be something exciting and new for them. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Right. Let's dive in. I think I'm just going to open it with just a straight question, which is why do you believe confidence has to come before competence in early childhood?
Right, a very good question. Just through my experience, right? So when I look at a kid, I sort of know straight away where they're at. You can sort of gauge in terms of are they hesitating towards doing stuff? Do they feel very confident and they're confident to do it? So I sort of break it down, bro. Like confidence is as a belief and a willingness. Okay, so it's an emotional and psychological. So for a child, the internal sense is, can I try it? Can I give it a go? You know, so confidence always comes before performance. Whereas like competence, it's about the ability, okay, and the execution, like what the child can actually do. So it's skills, coordination, understanding, or consistency. Competence always shows up after repetition, you know, so their experience. So that's how I sort of define the both of them. Or I was talking to one of the coaches the other day. I was like, look, the way you can break it down is that confidence will always open the door. Competence will steam through that door, you know, because they're gone through stages, bro. So it's, you know, for me, I think it's about always creating a safe environment, a safe space where kids can just give anything a go, you know, without any hesitation of making a mistake. You know, like all our mistakes are our best learnings.
Yeah, I love that. I think like just on the other side of that is, you know, if a lot of adults are thrown into coaching roles, you know, parents or volunteers, and then a lot of adults default to straight, skills and drills will deliver a confident outcome. But it's not the case, is it? Like you actually need to understand why you're delivering certain things to build their confidence and not think, this is what we're going to do, go and do it. And I guess that changes more down the age bracket that you go, because look, I've been to some of the Haka camps, I've coached at some of them, and I've seen kids sit on the sideline and not want to move, you know, and it took for me to watch how you would deal with that. You'd go over, get on their level, and make them feel comfortable and safe to try it. Do you find that you experience that at a lot of your camps as well?
Definitely, you know, like with kids that have that, it comes with experience, right? Knowing they're in a safe space, but like kids don't learn because they're capable. They learn because it's safe enough to try. So everything you have to do, you have to make sure it's ABCs. We call it ABCs, really simple work. And they need to be in that environment where they can grab the ball with two hands and try anything. And that comes down to the type of feedback you give. I know for coaches, we want the end result to happen straight away when we coach. And kids, you know, they feel that if they feel too much under pressure, that's when they start, you know, stiffening up and their movement's not as normal.
So like, what do you notice? How do you notice when kids are feeling safe? Like, what are they doing differently when they feel like I'm in a safe environment?
Well, straight away, you know, you look at their posture. You know, they'll take that step forward and I want to give it a go. The comms start coming, they start communicating, they'll start calling for a ball. So for example, if a kid is a bit hesitant and doesn't feel shy or doesn't feel safe in the environment, you know, they'll take that step back, you know, and when kids start making that step forward, that's when you can know, you can sort of like push that particular player in another space where they can, really test their execution.
Yeah, cool. Because I'm kind of trying to think like, what's the difference between a kid who's shy and a kid who's confident? Would you say you might have a confident kid, but he's just shy in personality? Or are you saying if someone is shy that they are lacking that confidence? Like, are they go hand in hand, really, don't they?
Yeah, but that does come down to like, I believe, like if they've done that repetition in the past, okay, their confidence is there.
Yeah.
So it depends if they're trying something new, okay, or they've tried something that they've done a million times, So the confidence and unlocks like curiosity,
Yeah.
okay. Or if you have a kid that's cautious, you have two different types of players there, So when they're
Yeah.
doing the skill tells the child what they can do, right?
Mm. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, like confident kids obviously want to explore more. And when they repeat more, they obviously are failing more safely. So that's just going to keep building that confidence, and safe environments are ultimately what this is about. Because if you feel safe and you feel comfortable around the coaches, the people you're with, your peers, then you're more likely to put your foot forward and try something, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, when,
You
when
know,
the
like,
kids, bro, when the kids, when they try without fear, okay, they repeat it without frustration, but also as well, they're not worried if they fail. It doesn't shut them down, So there's sort of like the stages you need to look at with players, And when you have kids, man, they just like have no fear. They give anything a go. Every kid, I believe, is capable to do that at first go. It's just that initial, are they curious or are they cautious? When you can identify both of them, if they're curious, they're going to be competent, to
yep.
start attacking whatever they want to do. When they're cautious, they're not going to be as competent.
Yeah.
They'll step back, they'll have a look, they'll eventually get there, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I guess there's all of this, if I do something, what are the other peers that are my age going to think? Remember surfing, like one of the biggest things people fear when they surf, they did a big survey, is what other people think of them in the water, right? So if you were a confident person who's like, I don't care, I'm out here having a great time, then ultimately it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And that means I feel like I'm safe. I feel like I'm doing what I enjoy. But that's because ultimately when I surf, I'm in the vibe. I'm in the moment. So I guess that's that same logic when you've got kids. If they feel safe and they're not scared to try things and they're not scared to fail,
Yeah.
well, they're actually doing it out of a love, not out of a fear.
Yeah, bro. It's not directly at youth as well. Like I remember throughout my professional career, any sort of pressure, that's when you start second thinking. You're more cautious about doing stuff. You got the whole skill set in the world. You can do anything you want, but the fear it tightens up the body. Movements become smaller. You feel more stiffer. Instead of like exploring the space.
Mm.
And making sure that you can do anything you want.
Yeah, yeah. I think like, especially, I mean, just thinking about your everyday life, and like we said, it's not just in kids, but fear narrows that attention and creativity. Like you start to shut down, and do you think like fear is something adults often don't realize they're creating? So if you take a parent comes in and coaches a youth team, they might be doing things that the kids are going, oh, I can't do that, creating that fear. So do you believe that adults don't realize that they're also doing it? Yes, they're thrown in the deep end, but maybe they don't realize that what they're delivering is actually causing this fear or this shutdown.
Yeah, massive, especially like coaches as well. Like when adults prioritize outcomes over experience, kids feel evaluated instead of supported. Okay, that's when they start showing fear. So, and I know as coaches, we have a session plan that's planned out. We want to tick every box and make sure that execution is done right. And then, on our way home, boom, where there's an awesome session. And we want to get that done, straight away. But like, there has to be room for improvement. Like you have to allow mistakes. I remember when I first retired and I was coaching the senior level for a couple of years in Italy there, I was always like pushing the boys, you can try what you want to do. You can make sure you make the mistakes there. You learn from them on the field, because when you from the training field, because when you start playing, that's when you've done any mistakes leading up towards the game. During the game, that's the time for execution. But obviously, especially with coaching children, okay, making sure that we don't prioritize the outcome as the experience they need to go through. It's the whole learning process.
Yeah, I think the word experience is key, right? That experience encapsulates being confident, feeling safe, smiling, having fun. You deliver a great experience, you're going to deliver great outcomes for young kids. And that kind of leads on to the next question. With confident kids, keep trying even when things don't go right. And that when you try new things and put yourself out of your comfort zone, I believe that's when you learn ultimately. And like you can again apply that to all different settings. So, if you're in a work environment and you have a boss who says to you, "Hey, I need you to create this pitch, and then I want you to deliver it to maybe it might be one of your biggest clients," you shouldn't shy away from that task. Yes, it's something that you're fearful of, but the outcome of you doing it, you feel automatically amazing, like you've achieved something, but you've actually unlocked a fear. So your
Yeah.
confidence grows, which means your ability to deliver better results and actually take on bigger challenges are much more prevalent. I think you would have seen that in your professional career and even with all your workspace now and with Haka Rugby, doing things that you don't want to do are sometimes the best things to do.
The environment is key. The
Mm.
environment is key, and making sure that there's a culture within that environment and it is the safe space, right? So, like confidence kids, when they trust the environment, they know that when they make mistakes, it doesn't cost them belonging, So when they know that, they feel engaged the whole time, and they'll keep going and going and going. Like it's because confident kids don't see failure as a verdict. They see it as feedback. Just little things like that like, that triggers their minds to keep pushing themselves. So, yeah. The environment, the trust is the key. And I think, bro, just taking forward on how we're going to set up full nippers and the whole curriculum stuff, it's making sure that the culture is right, through the kids that are there and the parents, and making sure that every kid is in a safe space. The 45-minute sessions they do, they're in a different world. They're in a complete different world where, they're amongst their peers who are family.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, a big thing in that is, praise effort versus performance, right? Knowing that, when they do something and whether they fail or not, congratulating them, getting them up. And I guess
Yep.
that's a big part about coming back to this experience level for footy nippers. We know that this can't just be a sports class, go kick the ball, come back from the cone and you're with your parent. It's got to be something more. You've got to create an environment where they feel safe, where they're going, when I do this, I know that they might not see it this way, but they're challenging themselves and the parents are seeing the improvement visibly as well. It's so important that we are building strong, kind and confident kids. And footy nippers, that is our slogan. So we know that if we build confident kids, we give them the best shot at being
Absolutely.
successful, not only in club sport, but also in later on in life as well.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. When the first 7 years, bro, is so important. Their brain develops so much. We want to install them with, good confidence, making sure that they're strong and they're kind moving forward into their future life, because when confidence is missing in those early years, okay, the kids start to learn to be careful instead of being curious. So we want them to get through that stage there. And that pattern doesn't disappear. It shows up in different arenas when they're older as well. So making sure that, we're well above the learning stages through our next generation, future generation.
Yeah, you even we speak to hundreds of people from clubs and they tell us like the skill level and the confidence level is not what it used to be from when we were going through that transition from being at kindergarten to playing rugby or whatever sport we were playing at that age. And, they are putting that down to there's a lack of interest in it. You got phones and screen time, there's more distractions. So, that means that the long-term effect of these people that are now choosing to socialize through digital means, but not in person, they're lacking confidence there. And what it also means is that, having these bespoke programs like Footy Nippers to give that advantage and help these kids build that confidence is so, so important. And, we've also heard COVID also didn't help where kids stayed at home and they didn't get that confidence around their peers and that socialization from being at school. Yeah, I guess that the more we look at it, the more we know how important this mission is that we're undertaking. And we know that Footy Nippers is here to build these strong, kind and confident kids. Because if you do that, you create world leaders. And can you remind me again, in Haka Rugby, what is the main thing that you're trying to do? What is your slogan there?
Well, our slogan is utilise multiculture and rugby as a tool to create future world leaders. It comes in with confidence. Once they go through that repetition, they start becoming competent. And we've seen so many changes, bro, over the last 10 years of kids not wanting to let go of their mum and dad's hand the first morning where, they're hugging us when we leave the camp. It's the changes. And bro, just to go back to your point there as well, like it's the one thing that really, really gets me as well is that there could be a kid that, does come to the camp just through my experiences, bro. They'll be quiet on the field. They'll give things a go. They'll be quite hesitant. They'll be cautious. But when I see them at lunchtime and they're on their phones, they're just this new person, right? I think they're competent in that space and being on devices. But like a rugby field, for example, they're just shy you know. So like I'm trying to find a way, bro. How do we change these kids up to say or show them that they could be as confident on their phones or confident as on their phones to being on the field and being that confident as well. So yeah, massively devices are, you know, have been a problem for us over the last, 10, 15 years. So that's a space
Yeah.
it's very challenging, but I think it's something that we can really look into and make a difference and change it up.
Devices are not going anywhere. So, like repeating, if we're doing the same thing that we were doing before in terms of how we coach the kids, getting them into clubs, and you've got these other distractions, you're now competing. So that the way you deliver sport has to change. The way you need to offer bespoke programs to parents, that has to change as well. And that's why we're very big on our experience, but immersing them in the story, immersing them in the idea that they are part of this journey, which is awesome as well. So yeah, look, I've loved talking to you about this, and it's such a big topic for us when, I've been in this game of sports tech and trying to get kids active for years, but more from the technology side of things. And, you've been running Haka for 10 years and as the world's biggest rugby camp, we've seen a lot of this, and not only you've got kids of your own, so you understand this very intently. So from my side, getting those kids confident is the number one goal here. And if we do that, we've succeeded in our mission with Footy Nippers as well.
Yeah, it's been awesome. When we put up the topic, I was at last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a really deep thought about it. And straight away I thought, my oldest boy, who's 11 years old, he's cautious, right? He's cautious in everything he does. And I got my son, my 6-year-old, and he's curious.
Oh,
and
he
gives everything a go, I'm just like, yeah, this conversation's awesome. It's cool to, voice it out there, how we think about things and how we can make some changes or give the opportunity.
Yeah, cool. It's such a good example, like having met Kai and Knox, they're polar opposites. They are. So like the way you have to manage and teach them and build their confidence and teach them skills and get them learning is different, right? And no one kid is the same. And look, I think to kind of summarize it, confidence isn't accidental, it is designed. And what I mean by that is we are in charge of how we grow confident kids. And that means that we need to make sure that as parents and as coaches, we're doing the right things to make sure that they're establishing that foundation. So yeah, mate, look, I've loved chatting with you about this today, and I think this is something that's quite close to our hearts as a topic, and something that we're really focusing on, whether we're delivering it through the experience on the platform, the curriculum, and it's going to be so exciting when people see us launch this very, very soon as well.
It's been cool. Everyone out there listening, sort of say a happy new year. Wish you guys all the success for 2026. We've done a few episodes back in November, December. There was some cool questions coming out, what we're up to. So I think we'll maybe, jump on a potty and answer the questions for anyone that was out there, asking them. And yeah, we look forward to our journey. It's going to be a big year for us, and I couldn't do it without a better person like yourself, bro. So thanks so much for your time.
Exactly the same way, mate. So I'm looking forward to tackling it with you, and together we're going to do something great.
Cool. You enjoy that summer day in New Zealand while we're in Europe here cold, so.
It's far from summer here, my friend. You don't want to look outside. All right, bro. Have a good one.
Cheers, thank you, brother.
Yeah, bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.